Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is YAHMAD. So we will continue looking at JavaScript and we're going to be doing another if statement task in this tutorial. So we're going to be using a football topic again, and what we're going to have is 3 pieces of data outputted on our HTML page initially. So I need to create some H1 tags. So we need to be working in between the body tags to add some content to our web page. And let me just create 3 H1 tags, heading 1 tags. So each tag will basically have a different piece of information, and we will use identifiers again. So if you check out the previous videos, we've done this since the first set of tutorials. We're going to include a full name. This will be dependent on the input from the user. And then we're also going to include the total goals. And again, this will be dependent on what the user inputs. And then we're going to have a season 1 review. And this is going to be from the selection part, the if statements. So depending on how many goals to score, we'll have a statement either in green if they scored enough goals, or red if they haven't scored enough goals. Okay. So that's the first thing. If I press save, and if I go to my browser, nothing is showing right now, as you can see. Okay, no problem. Right, now we're going to add a script. And the JavaScript will enable us to interact with our web page. Okay, and the first thing that we need to do is we need to gather some details. So we need to gather the full name and how many goals have scored, and this will be stored in a variable. So equals variable, we can call it full name, equals prompt, since the user will be entering this information in. Open a bracket and then enter the prompt that will appear. So please enter your full name. Okay, we also need to know how many goals have scored in a season. So again, VAR, season 1 underscore goals. And since we're going to be entering this as an integer value, we need to write parse int. And then open brackets, prompt. And then open brackets again. And in here, please give a prompt so the user can input how many goals they've scored. In this season there, this will do. So enter the number of goals you've scored in this season. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get some data for these 2 tags here. So we're going to be using document.get elements by ID. The ID which we're going to refer to initially will be FN. Let me put that into speech marks. Okay, we're going to be using .innerHTML to get an element for this tag. And it's going to be a combination of a variable and some text. So what we're going to say is something like this: welcome to the website. And then we want to join the full name variable to this text string. So let's write full name. We can select here. And if you want to add a full stop at the end, so a plus, remember if you check out the previous videos, a plus is to join something to a text string. So to concatenate, speech marks, full stop. That's the first part done. Okay, the next thing is we want to get the number of goals that you've scored in a season. So again, document get element by ID. In the brackets, we want to refer to this ID here, TG. And again, it's going to be .innerHTML to get some content for this tag. And that's going to be this. So you have scored and then plus. So we want to join this variable to this text string. So season 1 goals. So what will happen is it will say you have scored the number, and then in the speech marks we can say goals this season. Right, let's have a look and see what we have. Okay, enter the full name. Let's say I've scored 24 goals. So welcome to the website. There's the content from the variable. And then you've scored 24 goals. Again, the content from the variable. 24 goals this season. So this is the first part of text string, and we've added the variable, and then we've got the second part of the text string. So we use the plus to concatenate to join these values all together. Right now, we're going to be doing a selection part. Okay, so we need to give a review for the season based on the number of goals scored. Okay, so I'm just going to move that up a little bit, and we're going to start by writing if, open the brackets. We're going to be checking this variable here, season 1 goals. Season 1 goals, let's say, for example, if it's less than 15, so that's not a positive return in this instance. What we're going to say, okay, first of all, we're going to say something like, so we're going to review to this tag here, so we're going to output some content for season 1 review. So we're going to write document get element by ID, open the brackets in speech marks. We want to include season 1 review, so we can just click here. Dot inner HTML equals, okay, you need to score at least 15 goals next season. So less than 15 will be the maximum value that we can input is going to be 14. So obviously if they scored less than 15, they've not achieved their target. Okay, so this will be output in this tag here. And what we're going to do is we're going to format this output in a particular color. So if they're not reached their target, the output is going to be in red. So what we're going to do now is style dot color, and make sure you're using American spellings, equals speech marks red. Okay, that's the first part done. Okay, let's see if this is working. Save. So always check your work every step of the way. Put as my full name. I want to show the if it's true, if the goals is less than 15, the output. So the output should be you need to score. So if I type in 14, for example, which is less than 15, it should say this one message here. You need to score at least 15 goals next season, and it's going to be in red. So let's see that, if that's working. 14. Yep, that's fine. You need to score at least 15 goals next season. However, if I was to write, just put YA for my name, for example, 16, which is more than 15, we have no else part of this statement yet. Okay, so if we go back to here, if the goals is 16, this is no longer true. What do we need to write? We need to write else. So this is like your false. Open the curly brackets. And what I'm going to do is just going to copy and paste this into here. Just make sure the indentation matches. And if they have scored more than, so basically if it's not less than 15, okay, so 15 or more, then we're going to say, well done, you have achieved your target, something like that. And this time the font is going to be green. Okay, let's see that's going to work. So the minimum value that should be accepted for the false, the else, it should be 15. So let's check if that's working. So 15, we should get the green. Yes, well done, you've achieved your target. You've scored 15 goals this season. Anything less than 15, so 14, then you'd output the red message. Instead, you need to score at least 15 goals next season. So here is another example of using if statements. In the body here, this information will be dependent on what is entered into the script here. So the full name, season 1 goals, And then the final one, the review, comes from this selection statement here, this if statements. Okay, let me just get rid of that space there. Really makes no difference. You can also add more formatting to the text. You can make it bigger, smaller. It's up to you guys. Okay, so that's the end of this tutorial. In the next tutorial, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at adding some more conditions. So here we just have one logical test, and if that's true, we output this information here, which is linked to this tag, this ID. And if that's not true, then we output this information, which again is linked to this ID, season 1 review. Right, guys, I hope this makes sense. Please try to do these tasks at home and make them a little bit different if you want. And join me in the next video where we add multiple conditions. So we're going to be using else if. Thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Please drop your comments below, like and share, and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you. Bye-bye.